Good morning, everybody. Welcome you all out to our January 16th meeting here, General Services, and any guests we have online, welcome you as well. We will start out, as usual, with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice Chair Clay Mack.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Clay. First off, we need to approve the minutes of the regular meeting and work session on January 2nd.
I'll go ahead and second Vice Chairman Mack's
I will
motion.
make that unanimous. Next, we have up the approval of the demands and handwritten warrants to pay our bills,
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
and I'll make it unanimous. Okay, first up, we'll have our county attorney, Scott Bennett, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for hearing me, and let me put a few things on the agenda today. The various items we're bringing you are all staff-related. The first one is not a new issue. It's just a modification to the contract that we entered into with Jeremy Waite. It's more of a technical issue than anything. When we were reviewing our contract, we started looking at it, and it was our opinion that in the strictest interpretation of the contract, it would require Mr. Waite to obtain a written waiver from every client that he's ever represented in the county. And that would be a Herculean effort. Certainly, we're very concerned that there not be any conflicts, and we've already put safeguards in place to make sure that his duty of loyalty to former clients would never be violated. That being said, to request that everyone he represented when he had a defense contract about 10 years ago be tracked down and a waiver be signed, I think we'd be counterproductive. So we modified the contract to allow him basically to represent the state in current prosecutions, never violating any of his conflict of interest rules and maintaining a professional standard of the requirements, his duties for past clients. But it just softened the language, not in his duty, but in what would be required for him to represent us. So I'm giving way more of an explanation to say he doesn't have to track every client he's ever had down and get them to sign off on him working for the state. So with that, I'm hoping that you'll agree to the modification we have to the contract and let him start working for us.
As busy as you are over there, I don't think you need to track down people for the last 10 years to sign that. So it's a good move, time consuming, or not wasting any more time on that. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go ahead and approve the amendment to the agreement for special prosecution between the county attorney and attorney J.J. Waite.
I'll make that unanimous.
Thank you so much. The next issue, it's the first time it's been on the agenda. However, we discussed it in our budget sessions last year. Mr. Perkins turned 65 and is officially retiring at the end of the month. Fortunately enough for us, he has agreed, and we had anticipated this last year, to staying on through the end of the fiscal year. This would be a contract for services for him to continue to assist our office with various prosecutions, specifically Stately Langley, which is a first-degree murder case that he's trying, is set for trial in April, and he will obviously continue to work on that case and take it through trial. So this agreement would basically allow him, after his retirement at the end of the month, to begin working on a contract basis as a private attorney starting on February 1st.
Yeah, I think this in the long run will save us money, having to get another attorney appointed to this case. I appreciate his willingness to stay with us and seeing this out. So I think, could you pass that on to him? Say thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other comments?
No, excellent to be able to retain and have him have the continuity for that that murder case. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we do approve the ratification of the agreement for special prosecutor. Actually, it's not a ratification. It's the approval of the agreement for special prosecutor for Attorney Alan Perkins with the Graham County, with Graham County.
Make that unanimous.
Thank you. The next two items are very similar in nature. With the influx of cases and the outgoing of attorneys, as you're well aware, we've had really good attorneys working for our office that keep getting picked off by other counties. In order to try to maintain while we find full-time replacements, we've reached out and contracted with a couple of different attorneys who are retired and living in the Maricopa County area, both of which have substantial experience, however, are no longer interested in full-time employment. What we've done is created a contract whereby they'll be paid on an hourly basis to assist with review and charging of cases. The first one on the agenda is an individual by the name of Karen Close. She is retired. She is the former chief deputy at the Scottsdale City Attorney's Office, where she was primarily in charge of the criminal prosecution unit, has 30 plus years of experience in criminal law. We've actually, to get through the bump that we had when Mr. Karchner left us, we've already started working with them on again, an hourly basis as outlined in the contract. And she's done exceptional work. She has a very quick turnaround time. She's aware that the work may come and go. Certainly once we're fully staffed, I don't anticipate having to farm out the same amount of cases that we are now when it comes to review of charging. But for the time being, she, as well as the other one I'll talk about in a moment, are very willing and so far have done exceptional work. So I'm hoping that the board will ratify the agreement that we've entered into with Ms. Close.
I believe we're getting a pretty good bargain for that hourly charge. So I think it's a great fix for the time being, and hopefully we can get fully staffed soon. So any other discussion?
No. I'll second that motion.
Make that unanimous.
Thank you. The one thing that I'm learning in this job is once you're a prosecutor, you're always a prosecutor. That was evidenced as Mr. Perkins is retiring and immediately hiring back on Ms. Close and also Ms. Sharble. They, despite the fact are retired, they want to keep their hand in it. Ms. Susie Sharble is the second individual that we've contracted with for charging. In all honesty, I think that we are receiving an exceptional value. What we're paying on an hourly basis is well below the asking price for most practicing attorneys. In fact, they don't even bill out their assistants at what we're paying, but they have that innate desire to continue to serve our community, specifically our community, but just to serve the interests of justice by being a prosecutor. So we're getting really, really lucky with them. Ms. Sharble is a former homicide prosecutor. She spent her career with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. She ended her career in the Homicide Bureau, where she did nothing but death penalty and first-degree murder cases. So again, she has ample experience from an entire career as a prosecutor. And in speaking with her, I think she is less concerned about more money and more concerned about doing justice and keeping at least a little toe in the pool of prosecution. So like Ms. Close, we have an identical contract. She understands that the work will come and go in waves depending on our staffing of full-time attorneys. But I'm hoping that the board will go ahead and ratify the agreement that we entered into with Ms. Sharble as well.
Sounds like you've found a couple of really great attorneys to help us out. So really thank you for that. Any discussion?
Sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I definitely appreciate going up. I know your job's hard and great. Hard to work out. Hard. hopefully these.
And I, what hasn't been said is that the fact that you have a rapport and relationship with these people of high caliber and are able to reach out and they respond to you, and it's a great benefit that we're getting because of the way that you run your office and conduct yourself. So I'm pleased. Obviously we have already contracted with Attorney Charbel, so I'm pleased to make a motion that we approve the ratification of this necessary agreement for Attorney Susie Charbel to be a special prosecutor for Graham County.
I'll second that.
And I will make that unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words and your support. Appreciate everything you guys are doing for us.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Scott.
Next up, we have Miss Cindy Orr from our Treasury Department.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're presenting, this week, we're presenting 7 over-the-counter tax deed offers that we've received. These are for parcels that were foreclosed by the county on behalf of the state for delinquent taxes. Each of these offers is for the full amount of back taxes and fees required to get them off the record. So we'd appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Any discussions on this?
Just well done, very well done. Each of these is money for the coffer and excellent work for your office and to reach out and then for people to respond that Graham County is a place worth investing in. It's great.
Thank you.
Anything else? Have a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion. There's a number of parcels for tax deed sale: 109-59089, 109-59090, 109-59001, 109-59002, 109-594, 109-595, and 109-596. And I would move that we approve the offers which have been made for these over-the-county sales.
I'll second that.
I will also make that unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mr. Brian Douglas, Health Department.
Good morning, everyone. On the first item of business, we're seeking approval to ratify an agreement between Graham County and Greenlee County to utilize Greenlee County's epidemiologist for public health services at $80 an hour. Greenlee County's epidemiologist is Dr. Matthew Bollinger. We've worked with Matt for over the last 2 decades. He does a great job for us, and he's arguably the best epidemiologist in the state, and we actually have him right here, so we're blessed.
Any discussion on this item?
I did have a question. Is this as needed? And certainly during COVID, he would be highly needed. But is this as needed, or is this a certain number of hours per month?
Matt does come in and work for us on Tuesdays for maybe 5 to 6 hours. Wrapping up infectious disease investigations. We're also delegated, as needed, we're also delegated the health department to investigate dog bites and anything that's rabies related, and that takes quite a bit of time. And most of our rabies concerns that we contact Matt. Matt makes all the contacts, talks with families, animal control, things of that sort. So when we do have Matt for 5 or 6 hours and as needed, we keep him busy.
And how do you budget for for this on an annual basis?
Through the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant.
Okay, so funds are available and.
Yep, okay. through that grant through ADHS.
Very good. No other questions?
Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to ratify the agreement between Graham County and Greenlee County to utilize Greenlee County's epidemiologist for public health services at $80 an hour.
I'll second the Vice Chairman's motion.
Make that unanimous.
Okay. And the second item, we're seeking approval for out-of-state travel for Gavin Lawson and Lisa Maston, who are our environmental health staff, to attend the 2024 on-site wastewater conference in Laughlin, Nevada, held this January 31st and February 1st. Also at this conference, Gavin and Lisa will also be able to pick up 12 CEUs for their licenses.
This conference is wastewater management. What's exactly does that entail, Ryan?
Septic tanks.
Septic tanks?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, it's on-site wastewater sounds a lot better than sewage. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion. A sewage conference. I'll make a motion that we approve the out-of-state travel for Gavin Lawson and Lisa Maston to go to Laughlin, which is just barely across the river from Arizona. So,
Okay.
I'll second that.
I'll make that unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Ryan. Next up, Hannah Duderstadt.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here to request the board's approval to appoint a precinct committeeman. And this is for precinct number 2. It has 7 seats and there's 1 seat available. And something I haven't explained in the past, the total seats available is based on the total registered voters for that party in that precinct. And so that's how we determine how many precinct committeemen can be in each precinct. But we have this 1 seat available and Mr. Andazola does qualify.
Any discussion? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Michael Andazola to appoint him to precinct committeeman.
I'll second that motion.
Make that unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Cindy Norris Blake from HR.
Oh, I had a question before we. So, Cindy, do you mind if I backtrack a little bit? You don't have to. Don't leave.
No.
The question is if someone is a candidate, can you be a candidate and a precinct committeeman? Okay, very good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Cindy.
So I'm coming before you this morning for the request of the approval of the FY 23-24 agreement for CDL and non-CDL random and pre-employment drug testing. This agreement would be effective if approved on January 17th and follow us to the remainder of the fiscal year. We usually, when we come before you, the agreement's for an entire year, but we had a lot of logistical issues to work through the first 6 months. But we're in a good place, so I'm coming to you and requesting the approval of that agreement with Scott Medical Solutions.
Okay. Any discussion on this matter? I hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve fiscal year 23-24 agreement for CDL drug testing services for Highway and Parks Department safety sensitive positions and non-CDL random drug testing services for the Sheriff's Office, Health Department, Nurses, Engineering, Animal Control, Superior Court, Maintenance, Probation, and Eastern Arizona Regional Juvenile Detention Center safety sensitive positions with Scott Medical Solutions.
I'll second the Vice Chairman's motion.
And I will make that unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a chance for all of us to give kind of a rundown on what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. And first, we'll start with our county manager, Mr. Dustin Welker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Just a few updates on some ongoing projects. One, the Gila River Fire Mitigation Project. This is building fire breaks in the river, basically from Solomon to Fort Thomas. This is our second phase. We constructed 10 about a year and a half ago, and this one includes 12 more. And I just want to report, we started on the Fort Thomas side, working our way east, and we have now completed, well, at the time of the report, 4, we've completed 5 now, and we're starting the 6th one this week. So just about halfway done. So we're glad to see that project moving along very well. Our big Motorola communication projects, this is updating all our communication equipment in dispatch and our towers. We're having weekly meetings with them between dispatch, IT, myself and the SO. This project is going well. We're still purchasing all the equipment. We basically have almost everything here. They're sending everything to us, and we're storing it here locally. The only thing, there are some long lead items for the towers, mainly antennas and dishes, but the radios for the vehicles are coming in. They're kind of seeping in, but we're getting those slowly. And we finally got a commitment, somewhat of a commitment out of them. We're looking at hopefully starting installing the equipment in the next 4 or 5 months. So originally this was about an 18-month project, and looks like we're on schedule. So that is moving along as we're purchasing equipment. We've had some movement in the Superior Court and probation, and I see Josh Howerson and Mindy Young here. So I just wanted to announce that Herman Andrews has been promoted as the Chief Probation Officer, and Mindy Young will be transferring from the Clerk of the Court to the Superior Court as our new Court Administrator. So congratulations to both those individuals on those promotions, and we're excited to continue working with them. So thank you for being here, Mindy. Over at the fairgrounds, just want to report the Parks Department is remodeling the interior of a lot of our restrooms. They have a lot of things going on, but I just wanted to mark that. Wasn't really a project we identified this year. It's just something that needed to be done, and they've jumped in. They've replaced a lot of countertops in the restrooms and are going through and painting all of them and doing a great job. Looks really nice. Finally, on the highway department, as we're all aware, we finished the Fort Thomas River crossing, which was a great effort. And again, just want to congratulate our highway employees for doing such a great job. Everything was done in-house, and we had a little inner office grand opening of that crossing, and Steve and Daniel did a great job with that, and just really appreciate all those efforts. Some other projects that they're doing around town, we've had some continuous problems on that corner of Solomon and Bowie. We've put up some more signage on that corner with some blinking lights on top of those, so we're hoping that helps with those accidents on that corner, so we'll keep monitoring that. And then just lastly, we're doing a lot of work out in Bonita. We've pushed up a lot of dirt out in our pit out there, and are putting a lot of material and reworking some of those Bonita Klondike roads. So that's what we've been up to. That's my report, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Thank you. Next, Paul.
Thank you. My first activity was this last a week ago Monday. I traveled to Phoenix as part of the County Supervisors Association and attended the State of the State address and the opening session of the legislature, which was interesting and used up the whole day. I came back in time to go to a city council meeting and to see what the city of Safford's doing. The following day, there was a energy corridors scoping meeting where they're talking about BLM's talking about the different corridors that they've identified and what they will and won't allow in those corridors. Just kind of giving a heads up prior to moving forward with that. And then Historical Society, and there was a meeting that evening. And the next morning, there was a coalition of Arizona and New Mexico counties talked about some of the Forest Service, BLM activities and some of the concerns, litigation and Endangered Species Act impacts on the counties, primarily in New Mexico, but they also continue to be concerned and advocate for us here in Graham County, especially for ranchers and farmers and people who trappers and people who are involved with wildlife. Later that day, the local committee to end homelessness had a monthly meeting. Graham and Greenlee County, they're going to have a what they call a point-in-time count, where they go out and identify how many homeless people that they believe are in our county, and that helps them with their reporting and subsequent funding from the state. And our local Samaritan House, last month they had, I believe, 78. They schedule this so that they don't have people loitering around, but they had 78 showers, 70-something loads of laundry, a number of meals, and they're also concerned about the really bitterly cold weather, especially when it comes with moisture, and looking for ways to possibly get a temporary warming center for people to huddle around when it's so cold that it's life-threatening. Thursday, the 11th, there was a Department of Liquor License and Control Board hearing, and then I traveled that afternoon to represent Graham County at the Randy Heiss's with Seago, his retirement party in Benson, and it was very well attended, and it's a good transition. And then I'm going to wrap up my report with reporting on the County Supervisors Association Legislative Policy Committee. It's a group of one person from each county who's given the opportunity to review the pending legislation and vote and take a position whether the counties support or disapprove of the bill as written. And so my other supervisors listen in, and they can participate. They just can't vote, but it's a very valuable way of coordinating either support for or opposition to legislation from the counties. And that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Matt, you have anything?
I just want to congratulate Mindy on her promotion. Thank you for your willingness to step up to that, and thank Josh for his service to our county. I'd also like to thank Steve Fuses. You guys did a great job on that bridge. The people of Fort Thomas are blessed to have that. That's been a long time in the making, and just want to really commend your guys for the incredible job they did there. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. I'll be real brief. I'm still working very hard to get the Woman Sober Living project off the ground. I think we're just about that close to get construction started. I have a meeting this week to continue on that. I also attended the monthly Gila Valley Irrigation District meeting. I go to that just to kind of keep up on our water issues and inform them what's going on with our water issues. I get information from their organization, and I pass down information from what I know about our water situation. So it's been a very valuable meeting that I go to monthly, and I'm going to continue to attend that. And again, I thank Steve. He's been pounding on this a lot for the Fort Thomas Bridge, but we went out there for that little celebration, and the morale of the men of the highway department seems to have has improved so much lately. I've seen it, they actually act happy to work for the county, and the work that they do is very much appreciated, and noticed that the bridge was outstanding. I listened to the LPC kickoff on Friday. It was going to be an interesting year in legislative session this year. We have a lot to look at and think about and participate in on these events to give our voice to the citizens of Graham County through us. So it's very vital to be there. And on Sunday, I was invited to a congressional political kickoff over in Tucson for Juan Siscomani. I went and attended on Sunday. It was kind of fun to see, but I also want to thank Mindy for stepping up and getting this position. You're going to do a fantastic job. You've had some great mentors. I've heard nothing but good things about you, about the work you do. So welcome aboard, and you've always been aboard, but welcome to that other step. We appreciate your ability to perform over there. So thank you very much. And that's all I have. I don't see, next up is the call to the public. I don't see anybody, so this meeting will be adjourned. Thank you all.